a generation. Music is a soundtrack of revolution. Music is a soundtrack of movement. Music is a soundtrack of cause. There is an intersection of politics and pop culture that you didn't even know existed. There's some boy, some girl sitting in a cubicle along K Street, somewhere in D.C. A boy, a girl sitting in a cubicle along a hill with a Capitol with a dome who has single-handedly decided what you wore today. Whoa.
Mike Muse is an industrial engineer, a music executive, a political architect. He breaks down the intersection of politics and pop culture. This is the Mike Muse Show.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Muse Show on this incredible Super Bowl Sunday. Yo, it's the first time I've had the chance to do the Mike Muse Show on a Super Bowl Sunday, and I am so excited. That's right, folks. Today is the day, and in just a few hours, all eyes will be on the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles battling it out for the Lombardi Trophy. Now, if you're anything like me, folks, and I mean if you're anything like me, you are already thinking about those snacks. Yes, and also, too, the Clydesdales. You know what I'm talking about, those commercials. And who's going to walk away with the ultimate bragging rights by the end of the night? Let me tell you, folks, this matchup has the makings of an instant classic. All right, follow me here. On one side, you have the Chiefs who are coming in looking for a history-making three-peat, 3 in a row. I mean, listen, folks, if they pull that off, you know we're going to be talking about them as a modern-day NFL dynasty for years to come. They've shown time and time again that they can thrive under pressure. Just think about how many close games they've managed to squeak out this season. I mean, everything has come down to like 1 point to 3 points. They haven't really blown any games away. You know, whether it's a last-minute field goal or a crazy fourth down stop, the Chiefs somehow always, and I do mean always, find a way. That Mahomes, man, let me tell you. Meanwhile, the Eagles are back in the big dance, baby. If you know me, you know I am a Jalen Hurts fan. I love the Eagles. I'm super excited. I make sure I go to an Eagles game every year when they play the Giants here in New York City. We had a great time this fall. And they are looking stronger than ever, folks. Yo, this is definitely not the same team that lost to the Chiefs a couple of years ago, but don't tell them that. Shh, be quiet. They've only got 3 losses on the season, and 2 of them were real heartbreakers that hinged on just a couple of plays. So you could say they've been about as close to unstoppable as you can get. And they've got a ferocious defense, a well-rounded offense, and let's be honest, a little bit of revenge on their minds, maybe, a little bit of chip on their shoulders, something to prove, baby. And then come on now. Then they got my boy, as I mentioned to you guys yesterday, third place runner-up for the NFL Most Valuable Player of the Year. No other than a special running back, Saquon Barkley. What's up, my boy? Big Ten in the house in their backfield. With Jalen Hurts at quarterback and Barkley pounding the rock, the Eagles can control the clock, wear down the defenses, and set the tone physically. And let's not forget about their signature tush-push. Nobody does a tush-push like the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if they dominate the time of possession, which will be incredible key, they can keep Patrick Mahomes watching from the sidelines. And limiting Mahomes' opportunities is, folks, half the battle, because that man is like a magician when it comes to beating the Chiefs. And don't worry, folks, if you're not into football, let me just have my fun real quick, and I'm going to get to some politics, and then we definitely got some Ki Kwan, my boy, Oscar Award winner from the show. We talked to his co-star yesterday, Arna DeBose from Love Hurts. He's coming up on the other side. He cannot wait to talk with you. I cannot wait to be in conversation with him. But let me just enjoy my moment real quick. Y'all know I like to talk my shit, especially when it comes to sports, folks. I'm super excited. Now, listen, if you're not even into sports, just play this back. I think I'm giving you guys lots of talking points. You see I did there, talking points in the newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, make sure you do so right now at I Am Mike Muse, MUSE on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. It comes every week. It gives you great talking points to help you get through the policies throughout the week, and talking points to talk to your friends, colleagues, and families. And this is exactly what I'm doing right now with the Super Bowl. If you're not a big sports fanatic, everything I'm saying right now, just take some notes, take it to the party when you go tonight, and you would look like a rock star. All right, I digress. Back to what I was talking about, Mahomes. You can't overlook that guy, man. He's capable of almost anything. Yo, dude just finds a way to make jaw-dropping plays out of nowhere, my G, especially when the game's on the line. And let's not forget about Coach Andy Reid's brilliant offensive mind. Yo, between Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and the rest of the crew, you blink and suddenly there's a touchdown on the board. So if you're rooting for the Eagles like I am, you definitely want the Eagles to put up points early and keep the pressure on, because Mahomes is not someone you ever want to face in a tight game at the end. Because what did I say earlier? They have always found a way to eke it out in the fourth quarter and winning only by like a field goal or like by 1 point. Another huge element tonight is going to be the atmosphere in the Big Easy in New Orleans. You in the NOLA, baby. You know, there's just something magical about Super Bowl Sunday. You know, everybody's gathering with friends and family. You know, maybe you're firing up the grill right now because clearly you don't live in New York City where it's cold. But you know what? I'm from Michigan and we have grilled in the winter. So what am I talking about? Or piling your plate with nachos, wings, pizza, you name it. Hey, come on, let's talk commercial, folks. There's basically an event in themselves. I actually make everybody be quiet so I can watch the commercials. I'm that guy. I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. Judge me for it. Whatever. All good. Listen, we got all these companies shelling out big bucks to snag those primetime ad spots, which are hella expensive. They're all using these big name subbies now for the big push. And, you know, we'll be dissecting them all day tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow, GMA 3, where I will be breaking all things Super Bowl commercials in the halftime. Which commercial is going to be the funniest, which one was the weirdest, and which one had the big celebrity cameo that we weren't expecting. That's just a part of the tradition unto itself. The commercial I am watching out for is the Michelob Ultra with Catherine O'Hara. I think she is hilarious. I've already seen a sneak peek of that commercial, and I think that's going to be my one of the night. But I don't know. I haven't seen all of them just yet. Then there's a halftime show. Come on, folks. Come on. Grammy Award winning Kendrick Lamar, Record of the Year, Song of the Year. I mean, I can go on. And he is set to take that stage, and I am too hyped for this. Can you imagine? All from a diss record. He got Grammys, and he has a shot at the Super Bowl tonight with his halftime. He's been on an incredible tear these past few years, and you know he's going to bring that energy, theatrics. I've talked to his team. I've been trying to pull it out of them in terms of what he's going to do. They are very mum on it, but I told them, I said, I think I'm seeing a choir. They didn't respond. I said, I think I'm seeing fire. They didn't respond. And I said, I think I'm seeing something, him climbing on something, which they also too didn't respond. Whatever, haters. But they are storytelling. He's a great storyteller. And what he does in presentation is so dope. He can top some of the most iconic halftime performances we've seen. I wouldn't put it past him. This is the biggest stage in the world, and Kendrick doesn't do anything halfway. So that's the table I'm setting for you today, folks. On paper, the Eagles look like a more balanced, more dominant team, but the Chiefs have the championship DNA and a quarterback who seems to thrive in the most stressful moments. One team wants to submit a historic legacy. The other one wants revenge. Come on, Eagles. And they've got the firepower to pull it off. I love that the spread is so close. It's proof that this game could honestly go either way. That's why I'm super excited for it. And we're probably looking at a tight finish, if I had to say so myself. Maybe a late field goal decides it. Maybe the tush push decides it. Or we see a magical drive by Mahomes or Hurts with just seconds left on the clock. If you're a football fan, you can't ask for more than that. I personally think that Saquon Barkley is going to have the rock at the end, and he is going to run that ball into the end zone, and or he's going to make a key play that's going to get the Eagles the needed first down in that final 2 minutes of the game that is going to give the Eagles more life. That's my prediction. All right. Now, personally, I can't wait for all the watch parties tonight. So if you're hosting one, please invite your boy over. I'll bring the guac. All right. Hit me up with the invites at I am Mike Muse, MUSNME on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Just have plenty of room on the couch so I can watch every angle of this thing unfold. And if you're just in it for the halftime show or the crazy commercials, that's totally cool too. Super Bowl Sunday is about uniting folks in front of the TV for a good time. But folks, don't go anywhere just yet because as promised yesterday, as I make a very hard pivot, I didn't get a chance to really finish talking about Elon Musk and his Doge colleagues. I definitely said I wanted to touch on that because it's just a lot to unpack when we think about all the things that has taken place over the week, and in particular, what Elon Musk has been up to with that. And I want to make sure that you guys have the empowerment that we need to unpack what is happening as we go into the day tomorrow, because no matter how much fun we are going to have tonight at Super Bowl tomorrow, we are back at it, folks, with politics. So I just want to connect the dots on what I was talking about yesterday about how changes might impact, the Department of Education. I talked about USAID, but now I really want to talk about how and who is responsible for bringing about all those changes, and that is Elon Musk and team. It's an energetic team that's driving much of this efficiency campaign, right? They're guided by the most high-profile entrepreneur that we have in the world, who owns all kind of businesses, as you know, from X to SpaceX to Tesla, you name it, he's done it. But this group that he has formed has been unleashed to analyze and in some cases slash federal spending. The rumor is they're using sophisticated data tools, possibly even AI, to comb through payroll, grants, contracts, and more. Some states are alarmed. They're going through sensitive payment systems containing personal information. That's right, your social security numbers. They can even get a hold of what kind of medicines you're taking. How personal is that? What if they have a vendetta or revenge against somebody? Can they tweak something? We just don't know. Again, I'm not trying to be alarmist, not trying to be conspiracy theories. This is just all what's being discussed. There are some supporters that say, that there's a group that's cutting through the red tape and saving taxpayers' money, just as I was talking about yesterday. But opponents point to potential privacy risk. You know me, I'm pro-tech, but I am very much pro-tech with guardrails in place to make sure privacy and data is protected of Americans and consumers. So if you are feeding personal data into algorithms not fully vetted for security, that's a big deal, folks. That's huge. Plus, these efficiency experts might be skipping important checks and balances, effectively bypassing normal channels of accountability. That's where the pushback is coming from attorney generals across this country and some member of Congress. I'm also hearing that some of these new hires are very young. I mean, we're talking late teens, folks, like 19 years old is the youngest, into their early 20s, who are walking around with major authority. Can you imagine what you're doing at 19? And I'm not talking about ageism here. They're too young to do anything. But there's something about having an understanding of the federal government in the province that comes with the provenance that comes with so much history of working in the federal government. That's why you have these, career employees who actually are the trust of these agencies, who know everything about the government, about that particular agency, and they're the ones who keep our government functioning from administration to administration, whether it's a Democratic administration or Republican administration that then flips Democrat or that stays Republican. They're the ones that keep the continuity of the government going. I was an appointee, so there's two type of classifications: appointee, that the president appoints his staff and team that he wants to fill the federal government, and then you have your career employees who are there no matter what. And so I was an appointee as a commissioner of the United States Small Business Administration, and I had to engage with career staffers on a daily basis. And there's a reason why they're there, right? They have so much institutional knowledge that really helps stabilize and balance the government, including when you have wild and crazy ideas that maybe you want to share or maybe that you want to have. So that's why I'm just saying, I don't know if a 19-year-old can really understand the depth and the gravity of that, and that they're demanding to see critical systems and records. People inside these agencies aren't sure how to handle that, because normally you expect such directives to come from a known chain of command, not someone who barely has a staff badge. It's a culture clash, folks, between a Silicon Valley, move fast and break things, as they always say, mentality, and the more cautious government approach. There's a reason why government isn't business, right? There's a reason why government isn't in the business to make money. The government is in the business to protect democracy and to ensure all of Americans have a right to this American dream. Now, we can come to a new development that's really turning heads. The White House pretty much has given green light to expand these cutbacks to even more corners of the federal government, including our largest discretionary spender. The president recently announced at a news conference that he wants the same cost-cutting approach applied at agency responsible for national defense, folks, as well as in education, as I talked about yesterday. That's a serious pivot because defense is where we pour the biggest portion of our budget outside of mandatory programs. Mandatory programs are things like, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and defense. You know how much the defense budget is? On the count of three, just shout out what you think the number is. 1, 2, 3. All right, let me say, whatever the number you just said, you're wrong. Go higher. All right, so let me try it again. On the count of three, shout out the number that you think is the defense budget after me telling you to go higher. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, if you said around $875 billion, you're correct. If you said almost $1 trillion, you're correct. If you said anything under than that, you are wrong. And that's when you have to pause about discretionary funding that President Trump has given Elon Musk and his colleagues to do. What makes it even more complicated is that Elon Musk is heading the efficiency push, has multiple massive contracts with the agency, so there's concerns about his conflict of interest. But apparently that hasn't dissuaded President Trump at all. The president specifically said he's not imposing any major restrictions on the group. Whew. Leaving the door open for them to wade into almost every aspect of government funding. I was watching that press conference on Friday and my mouth was just floored. So that is just something to think about because that brings us to just a more of a recent set of revelations over the past couple of days, last week. There's been a wave of scrutiny on the young operatives who've embedded themselves across various agencies. It turns out the last one individual had some troubling social media posts, and I'm putting that politely. We're talking about, he says, quote, "I was racist before it was cool." Talks about let's expand more on Indian hate. Let's go further, which calls into question Vice President J.D. Vance, who is married to an Indian woman. He has Indian children, so that goes into question. So I just want let that sit in for a little bit. And another one who has reportedly was fired from a prior job for leaking sensitive data. One of them was reinstated, though, despite the public outcry. That's the racist one, with full backing from the White House. So let that sink in for a second. I'm kind of taking this slow here just a little bit because I don't want to overlook any of these moments because President Trump has doubled down on this, folks, saying that these aides are essentially doing the country a favor by ripping out waste, fraud, and corruption. On top of that, there's a federal judge has already issued a temporary hold on the move to force certain employees at USAID to go on administrative leave. Evidently, the court wants more time, folks, to consider the legal ramifications of pushing them out so abruptly. To put just 10,000 employees out on the street, how do you manage that? Most of these individuals live abroad, who have families. I mean, it's the middle of the school year. And a lot of them are overseas. That means they will have to leave from overseas, come back to the United States, find a city to live in here, figure out how to transfer the transcript from wherever country they lived in over here to the United States. And we know, is that even applicable? Like, how does that work? Is it going to be the same curriculum? Will they see those test scores and grades as the same? How quickly can that happen? I mean, even if you just say that happens in a month, that's still so long. I mean, there's just so much disruption and chaos. And that's not what you want in your government. You want your government to be calm, cool and collected. But the president and Elon Musk, who are leading this charge, have made it clear that they're not slowing down. On Friday, the president went so far as to mention that nothing was off the table for this efficiency squad, except maybe some ultra-sensitive intelligence operations. Folks, I mean, I just want you guys, if you can, to replay that press conference on Friday so you can hear it for yourself what this president said. I'm not even editorializing. You know me, I don't do commentary, I don't do opinions. I'm all about analysis and data and facts. But even just talking to you guys about this makes it feel like I'm doing commentary. It makes it feel like I'm giving you opinions, but I'm not. It's literally what this man has said. And I really need for you guys to look at this press conference on Friday. Again, he has a right to put people in place, have advisors in place, but you don't have a right to dismantle agencies without Congress and a robust debate and a rationale for the reasons why, and to make sure you have people in place who are properly vetted, who are doing the vetting of agencies and line items, who you want to make sure don't have racist past. It really is that simple. So if you wonder how big these cuts might get and whether there's a line that can be crossed, who knows? For now, it doesn't look like there is much of an appetite from the President Trump's perspective for limiting the group's reach. So we just have to kind of just see what's gonna, happen as we go about. So much is in flux, folks. A lot could change in the coming weeks. Congressional oversight might intensify. Obviously, courts will weigh in on legal challenges. And the public is going to get more vocal about whether these measures save money or simply dismantle the federal government's basic functions. I want to pause there just for a second because there's going to be so much more to unpack tomorrow. But now it's time to breathe for a minute, to pivot into something a little bit far less contentious. Because we don't forget, we do have a Super Bowl, coming up, folks. I really do. But with that being said, I don't want you to go anywhere just yet because we're not done with the Mike Muse Show. And after this quick break, folks, I will be joined by the one and only Ke Huy Quan, Oscar Award winner. Remember that movie last year, Everything Everywhere All at Once? And, you can't forget, he was in the Goonies. Hey, you guys. Ke will be here to talk about, the brand new role in Love Hurts. We talked to his co-star yesterday, which, by the way, you guys loved that conversation. I've been getting so much commentary and you guys hitting me up at I am Mike Muse, M-U-S, and Sam E. Let me know how much you enjoyed it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this conversation. I'm so excited because Ke has been on a roll lately, and I really want to talk to him about how he approached this project. It's, like I said before yesterday, Ariana, is nothing that I've ever seen before. So stick around, folks. It is Super Bowl Sunday, and this is a super show. I know, I couldn't resist the pun, folks. I had to say it. So there's plenty more excitement coming up right here on the Mike Muse Show. Don't touch that dial, folks.